The corridor leading to Detention Sector 3 hummed with energy. Walls of silver alloy curved like the inside of an enormous spinal column, pulsing with faint bioluminescent veins. Everything in the Aurion Interstellar Academy looked like this: elegant, graceful, expensive. Rae Morgan walked down the middle of the corridor, hands resting loosely at her sides, breathing steady. To anyone watching, she appeared calm. To the alien guard surrounding her, the calm was worse than hostility. A Varelian guard swallowed audibly. His throat sac puffed like an anxious frog. "Careful," he whispered to his partner. "Deathworlders go feral when cornered." Rae didn't bother correcting him. She'd tried explanations the first week of school. It never helped. Her boots clicked on the translucent floor. Beneath it, blue energy flowed like liquid lightning. They had designed the academy to remind students that power surrounded them at all times, authority hidden in every wall, every light. To Rae, it looked like a very expensive cage. A group of students clustered at the far end of the corridor, waiting like spectators before an execution. The academy rumor mill had reached them already. The human is being taken to detention, and from behind them, stepping through like royalty, came the person responsible. Prefect. Girak Varus. Tall, silver skin, 4 arms behind an immaculate council uniform. His red crest of hair hung down his back like a blade. Rae wasn't sure what irritated her more, his voice or the way he moved like everyone should kneel. He smiled with 6 thin fangs. "Rae Morgan," he said, savoring each syllable. "Caught attacking another student." "A predictable end." Rae stopped. The guards froze with her. "I didn't attack anyone," she said. Her voice remained even. "I grabbed him before he hit the ground." He tripped. Girak leaned forward, studying her like a scientist examining an invasive species. "You touched him." Rae blinked slowly. He was falling. "I helped?" His expression sharpened with theatrical sympathy. "How terribly violent," the crowd of students murmured, nervous excitement, fear, curiosity. Rae recognized the look in their eyes, the expectation that humans were exactly what legends described: unstable, dangerous, barely civilized. Girak motioned to the detention door. The guards hurried to obey. She could have resisted. The thought passed, an instinct born from Earth's brutal childhood. Humanity's history taught survival through action, not submission. But Earth had sent her here with one instruction: don't give them a reason to fear us. Her jaw tightened. She walked. The detention chamber doorway unsealed like an iris, revealing a circular room of shifting metallic panels. It was less a room and more a containment cell, every inch built for control. Girak gestured. "Step inside, human." Rae held his gaze for 3 seconds of silence. Then she stepped into the room. The door shut behind her with a heavy hydraulic thunk. Inside, the chamber lights dimmed. A tone echoed. Low, mechanical, system, initiating biometric scanning. Thin beams of blue light swept down from the ceiling and across Rae's skin. She stayed still. She'd been scanned dozens of times since arriving at the academy. Every time they recorded something unexpected about her physiology: heart rate high, adrenaline elevated, muscle density abnormal, or, as several alien reports summarized, conclusion: humans are biologically aggressive. Rae rolled her shoulders. "I'm just breathing." The lights intensified. System, unknown organism. Threat detection unable to establish baseline. Rae frowned. "Unknown organism?" The scanning beam suddenly turned red. System, engaging level 1 restraints. The walls shifted like living metal. Restraint arms unfolded, flexible alloy cables tipped with shock devices. They moved with snake-like focus, aiming for her wrists and ankles. Rae's pulse steadied. She didn't back away. Outside the glass wall, students pressed toward the viewing window. Girak stepped into the center frame like this was a live performance for his ego. Girak, mocking through intercom. "Please remain calm. The system is designed for dangerous life forms." Rae's voice stayed flat. "You mean dignitaries' children who throw tantrums?" Gasps from the alien students. Girak's eyes narrowed. "You're here because your species lacks control." One of the restraint arms darted toward her head. Rae caught it, not violently, not even quickly. She simply moved her hand and redirected its path, guiding its momentum aside with a smooth twist. Machinery designed to overpower high-gravity predators suddenly found itself unable to overpower a single human wrist. Jirac's composure faltered. "Jirac, restraints level 2. The arms retracted, then re-emerged thicker, faster, electrified with crackling arcs. A memory flashed, her father teaching her how to redirect force instead of fighting it. Control your breathing. Control your center. Let the world exhaust itself first. She exhaled. The second arm lunged. Rae sidestepped, grabbing the arm's joint and twisting. Metal sparked. The restraint collapsed like a folded insect. She let it drop gently to the floor. Gasps. A whimper. Jirac triggered another command. System. Escalating to level 3. Defensive measures authorized. Panels opened overhead, revealing something heavier, a compact gravity suppression array. Rae had seen diagrams these were used to pin riot-level threats. The device spun. The air thickened. Her muscles strained as the gravitational field increased. Sweat gathered on her brow. Her knees bent, 1 inch. The system kept rising in intensity. Jirac watched her body bow under pressure. A smirk formed. "Do you understand now? You do not belong here." Rae grit her teeth. She didn't shout. Didn't strain loudly. She adjusted her stance, grounding her weight. Slowly, she straightened until she was standing upright again under the crushing pull. The gravity projector hummed louder. "Struggling!" Rae lifted her chin. "You keep mistaking restraint for weakness." Her voice reached Jirac like a punch. The prefect slammed his hand on the control console. "Level 4!" The field surged, then abruptly collapsed. The projector sputtered and died, dark smoke curling out of its side vents. Rae released a slow breath. Inside the viewing area, Jirac froze, first confusion, then disbelief filling his features. Rae looked directly into the glass panel. You shouldn't push a system past its limits just because you want to see something break. She wasn't talking about the machine. Silence held the corridor. Jirac recovered his sneer. "You haven't escaped anything. The door remains locked." Rae walked to the wall panel just beneath the glass. She had noticed something during the gravity surge. The emergency override panel shorted when the projector overloaded. A faint glow leaked from the edge. She pressed lightly. A filament snapped behind it. The door unlocked. Click. The seal hissed. The heavy door slid open with a sigh of defeat. Rae stepped through the threshold without looking back. The crowd scattered like startled fish. Jirac's jaw worked soundlessly. Rae brushed a fleck of dust from her sleeve. Rae. Detention's over. She walked away as alarms began screaming, and that was when the Alien Academy realized something terrifying. The human hadn't fought the system. She had outthought it. The alarm sirens hadn't stopped since Rae walked out of the detention cell. Amber lights spun in the hallway, washing the silver alloy walls in warning color. A digital voice echoed overhead. "System, security breach detected. Human subject has exited containment without authorization." Rae kept walking. Students scattered wherever she went, pressing against walls, flattening themselves into alcoves, avoiding eye contact. She didn't sprint or hide. She simply moved with steady purpose, chin lifted, shoulders relaxed. She had nothing to run from. Jirac, however, was losing his composure. He shoved past his own guards, voice sharp with disbelief. "Stop her! Do something!" The guards hesitated. Rae heard it in their footsteps, the shuffling, the uncertainty. None of them wanted to be the one to make direct contact. She didn't blame them. Their entire education system taught that humans were unpredictable apex creatures who evolved under constant threat. Their instinctive fear wasn't personal. It was conditioning, a voice called out from behind her. "Human!" Rae turned calmly. A security officer approached, young, with a crown of crystalline spines and hands shaking around a shock baton. "Stay where you are." His tone tried to mimic authority, but the tremor made it crack. Rae lifted her hand slightly. not in surrender but in acknowledgement. Name? The officer demanded, voice thin. Rae Morgan. I was assigned detention by Prefect Girac. I served the time. That was 10 minutes, the guard murmured. He escalated the cell, Rae answered, still steady. The system malfunctioned. It released me. That wasn't the whole truth. She had noticed the faulty wiring and acted, but she didn't lie. She simply didn't give him more fuel than needed. The guard swallowed. If I escort you to the Dean's wing, will you cooperate? Of course. The guard blinked, confused at her lack of resistance. How can you stay so calm? He asked. I don't escalate unless someone gives me no other option. They began walking toward the central atrium. The officer kept a safe distance, as though Rae radiated invisible shock waves. The academy floor panel lights shifted beneath their feet, guiding toward the administrative core. Above them, massive transparent windows looked out into open space. The planet Reva 9 hung below the station, a swirling ocean of teal storms. Gravity generators hummed beneath the floor. The academy prided itself on its beauty. Yet Rae had never seen a place feel so cold. As they passed through a curved archway, the hallway widened into the student forum. Tall pillars, floating holographic banners, staircases branching like veins of an ancient tree. Students clustered in balconies, whispering frantically. She broke the detention system. No violence. Humans can neutralize security protocols just by thinking. Did you see the footage? Rae ignored them. She had endured worse speculation since the moment she enrolled. At the far end of the forum, heavy doors slid open. 3 security units rolled out, tall bipedal machines plated in obsidian alloy. Their faces were simple screens showing pulsing white rings. Drone unit, human subject, Rae Morgan. Please step into custody restraints. The officer beside her stepped back without hesitation. Rae kept her expression neutral. I'm already cooperating, she said. Restraints aren't necessary. The drones widened their stance. Drone unit. Non-compliance detected. I just complied. Drone unit. Verbal tone analysis indicates resistance. Rae blinked. That's just my voice. The drone's ring faces flared red. Drone unit. Escalating force. Girac's voice echoed from the balcony. Don't speak to them. They only respond to dominance. Rae didn't look up. They respond to commands, not ego. The drones lunged. Rae sidestepped the first bot, letting its momentum carry it forward. She placed her foot onto its thigh actuator, shifted her weight, and redirected its mass into a controlled pivot. The bot stumbled and toppled into a pillar with a metallic clang. Gasps rippled around the forum. She didn't attack. She didn't strike. She used the machine's acceleration against itself, just as her father taught her during Earth gravity drills. The second drone swung a wrist clamp toward her. Rae ducked beneath the arc and pressed a thumb into a maintenance seam beneath its elbow joint. The bot spasmed as a circuit reset, then froze in a shutdown pose. The third drone assessed her movement pattern. Drone unit. Human displays tactical proficiency. Adjusting strategy. It grabbed a fallen baton and activated. The charge blew electricity, rippling around the tip. The baton cracked, through the air toward her ribs. Rae exhaled electricity, arced toward her side. She caught the bot's wrist with both hands and grounded the baton against the metal floor. The electricity dispersed harmlessly. Then she released. No aggression. No brutality. Just precise control. Girac's voice shook with growing rage. She's attacking security. Do something. You worthless machines! Rae spoke without looking at him. I haven't attacked anyone. Students watched, wide-eyed. Trying to process what they saw, the bots lay on the ground, disabled but intact. Rae turned to the security officer who escorted her. May I continue to the Dean's wing? She asked. He nodded absently, stunned. Yes, follow me. They reached the lift leading to the upper administrative level. The doors sealed behind them, cutting off the noise of the atrium. The officer stared ahead, gripping his baton with white knuckles. You could have destroyed them? Why would I? Rae replied. They weren't my enemy. You didn't even look afraid. That one made Rae pause. Fear had been her companion growing up. Earth bred caution into every breath. Weather, Animals, terrain, disease. Humans didn't lack fear. They learned to function through it. She met his gaze. Fear doesn't decide my actions. The lift doors opened into a corridor lined with etched panels of alien symbols. Names of past distinguished students. A calm voice drifted from ahead. Rae Morgan. The dean stepped into view. Dean. Arix was tall and slender, draped in a shimmering administrative robe that shifted color with movement. Her eyes were deep, reflective, like polished stone that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. The officer bowed and retreated to the lift. He left Rae and the dean alone. "Walk with me," Arix said. Rae did. They moved beneath arched windows looking into space. Arix studied her profile, not unkindly. You disabled a gravity field, bypassed a lockout panel, and neutralized 3 security drones. Without harming anyone. Rae kept her hands clasped behind her back. I responded to escalation. I did not initiate it. Arix's lips curved, not a smile, but an assessment. You think I am concerned about the damage to the Academy? She stopped walking. I am concerned that you didn't lose control. Rae met her gaze. Why? Because restraint is far more dangerous than rage. The words sank into Rae's chest, like a weight. Arix motioned toward a circular room ahead. It held only one object, a large display screen. She tapped a console and footage appeared. Detention logs, drone security feeds, Xirax override commands. Everything. Arix turned to her. What do you expect from me? Fairness, Rae answered. Is that truly all? Rae hesitated. Arix noticed. The dean sighed softly. You terrify them. Rae, not because of what you did, but because of what you could do. Rae inhaled, controlled and slow. I won't be your proof of humanity's danger, she said, or your excuse to keep Earth out of the Council. Arix nodded once. Then give me no reason to doubt you. She gestured toward the exit. You are dismissed. I will deal with Xirax. Rae walked out of the room. Behind her, the dean watched her leave with a complex expression. Not fear. Possibility. Xirax stood in the center of the Grand Assembly Hall, pacing like a predator searching for prey. His crest of red hair twitched with agitation. Around him, dozens of students murmured, worried, confused, and very aware of what he had done. A towering holographic banner displayed his title. Prefect Xirax Varus, Head of Student Discipline. How ironic. Rae entered the hall without an escort. Doors parted at her approach, not because they recognized authority, but because the students blocking the entrance scrambled away like water splitting around a rock. Her steps echoed through the chamber. She didn't scan the room, didn't check for threats. She walked straight toward the center podium where Xirax stood. Eyes followed her, whispers swelling like a rising tide. That's her. The human who escaped detention. She didn't even touch them, just moved. Xirax turned slowly, attempting to regain control of his mask of superiority. You just can't follow simple instructions, can you? He said, voice dripping with practiced disdain. Rae stopped an arm's length away. You didn't send me to detention, she said quietly. You sent me to a containment cell designed for violent criminals. Xirax gave a thin smile. And yet you walked out. He meant it as an insult. Rae treated it like an observation. Because I refused to break, she replied. A tremor flickered through his expression. The slightest crack, the overhead lights dimmed. The assembly hall descended into semi-darkness as a massive wall display powered on. The dean entered from the upper tier, floating platform beneath her feet. Silence drowned the room. Play the incident, Dean Arix commanded. A security feed appeared. Every student watched. Xirax altering detention levels. Rae standing still as the system escalated. The gravity field overload. Rae catching and redirecting the restraint arms. Her exit through the unlocked door. The footage ended with Rae stepping out of the cell without force or retaliation. The hall remained silent. Arix spoke calmly. This school values knowledge. Part of knowledge is recognizing error. Xirax's voice spiked with panic. She attacked the academy. The dean cut him off. She touched no one. Rae met Zirak's gaze. You escalated everything because you wanted others to fear me. Zirak's eyes gleamed with pure hostility. Your kind thrives on chaos. I simply revealed your true nature. No, she said. You revealed yours. A ripple of whispers spread. Zirak pointed at her like casting a curse. You are dangerous. Humans do not belong here. Rae inhaled once, slow and controlled. Danger isn't defined by capability, she said. It's defined by intent. For the first time, he faltered. Students watched the exchange like spectators at a trial. Zirak spat. Your species crawled from a lethal mud ball. You evolved alongside poisonous creatures and carnivores. You're unstable at your core. Rae's voice remained steady. Earth made us tough, but discipline made us civilized. Zirak laughed. Civilized. You disabled security drones. I neutralized threats without harming them. You could have destroyed them. I didn't. Those two words silenced the last of the whispers. The dean stepped closer. Rae Morgan, what do you request as resolution? Rae turned toward Zirak, meeting his gaze head-on. I want him to apologize. Shock traveled through the room like a sudden current. Several students stared, mouths open. Zirak blinked, disoriented by the simplicity of her demand. That's all? He asked, voice unsure. You wanted everyone to see humans as monsters, Rae said softly. I want them to see choice. Zirak's face paled to the color of ash. I will not apologize to an animal. The display screen behind them flickered to a new visual, counseled disciplinary protocol. Students gasped. Arix folded her hands. The council views manipulation of security levels as an act of endangerment. If you refuse to apologize, I will forward footage to the council tribunal. Zirak swallowed. Rae waited. Seconds stretched. His jaw clenched so tightly Rae thought his teeth might crack. Finally, voice raw with humiliation, he forced out the words, I am... Sorry, Rae nodded once, but she wasn't done. You owe them an apology, too. She motioned to the students watching. You made them fear me. The hall erupted into murmurs again. Zirak looked around, seeing only eyes, judging him, not Rae. When he spoke again, his voice trembled. I apologize. To the academy. Rae stepped closer so only he could hear her next words. You mistook restraint for weakness. You'll never make that mistake again. She didn't threaten. She didn't smirk. She simply gave him truth. Then she turned and walked toward the hall exit. The students parted like a curtain, not from fear, from respect. As Rae left the assembly hall, she heard footsteps matching her pace. Dean Aurion joined her in the corridor, robes whispering against polished metal. You could have demanded his removal. That wouldn't have changed anything, Rae replied. People don't learn from punishment. They learn from accountability. Aurion studied her as though she were a riddle the universe had just offered. You realize most species equate power with dominance, the dean, said. Rae stopped before a long window. Beyond it, stars drifted across black space like sparks. She pressed her palm to the glass, grounding herself. Humans evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every day, she said. We don't need dominance to feel powerful. Aurion lifted an eyebrow. Then what do you need? Control, Rae answered. Over ourselves. For the first time, Dean Aurion smiled. Not a political gesture, but genuine. In time, this academy may learn from you. Rae Morgan. Rae glanced at her reflection in the window, one human girl alone in an alien institution, yet standing taller than she ever had. Or, she said, they'll just stop underestimating humans. Back in the Grand Assembly Hall, Zirak stood frozen. His reputation cracked, his title meaningless. The screen replayed footage of Rae walking out of detention with calm precision. A first-year student whispered behind him, she wasn't dangerous because she fought. She was dangerous because she didn't need to. Zirak's crest lowered in defeated realization. He hadn't proven humans were monsters. He had proven humans were something far more frightening, in control. The Academy's night cycle dimmed the halls to a soft blue hue. Most students slept, their dorm levels silent except for distant hums of ventilation. Rae stood alone in the observation deck, a circular room lined with transparent alloy that revealed the endless stretch of stars beyond. Riva 9 spun below, storm bands swirling like living art. Rae rested her forehead against the cool glass. Space looked peaceful from this distance, distant and clean. So unlike Earth, raw, loud, alive, she missed that chaos. Footsteps echoed behind her. She didn't turn. Dean Arix approached, robe glinting like shifting water under the low lights. "You're awake late." "Humans don't sleep well after adrenaline spikes," Rae answered. Arix came to stand beside her. "Today could have gone very differently." Rae nodded. "Zirak wanted me to be the monster." "He wanted validation." Rae pulled back from the window. "Why does he hate us so much?" "Fear," Arix replied. "Your existence challenges their certainty. This academy teaches superiority. Some cling to it like oxygen." Rae studied the dean's expression. "You don't seem afraid." Arix's gaze sharpened. "I am wary. But not of you. I am wary of what happens when a powerful institution refuses to confront its own bias." Rae inhaled slowly. "I don't want to be here just to prove humans aren't dangerous." Arix looked genuinely curious. "Then why are you here?" "To learn," Rae said. "To understand how the galaxy works. Earth isn't ready for everything out here. If someone has to bridge the gap, I'm willing to try." "And when people push you?" Rae's jaw tightened. "I won't break. But I also won't bend just to fit their image of me." Arix smiled faintly. "Then perhaps you are exactly what this place needs." The conversation was interrupted by a sharp chime from the comm grid embedded in the ceiling. The lights flashed amber. "System. Priority alert. Unauthorized boarding detected on lower docking bay." Rae straightened. "Unauthorized? Pirates?" "Worse," Arix muttered. "Political observers from the Varelian Council." Rae's heart thudded once, heavy. "They're here for Zirak?" "Perhaps. Or they're here for you." Arix tapped a wrist command. A projection sprang to life. 3 tall figures striding across docking bay 12. Their crests matched Zirak's, crimson, ceremonial, sharp as blades. Council insignias caught the light, and between them, Zirak. His expression wasn't triumphant, it was furious. His gaze radiated one emotion: vengeance. Arix and Rae hurried through the academy, descending toward the docking corridors. As they neared the bay, raised voices echoed down the metallic passageway. "You disgrace our lineage," one elder hissed. "A prefect does not lose to a Deathworlder." "I did not lose," Zirak snapped. "She manipulated the system." "Humans?" A hand slapped him across the face. He staggered. "You humiliated us before an entire academy." Rae stopped a few steps short of the bay entrance. The door was slightly open, allowing her to listen. Arix motioned for silence. Zirak tried to compose himself. "If you allow her to stay, Earth gains legitimacy. Their species grows influence." "You think we care about influence?" The elder snarled. "We care about image." Another voice spoke, deeper, older. "Remove the human. Quietly." Rae's stomach tightened, not from fear, from recognition. Zirak hadn't learned anything. He didn't understand accountability. All he understood was image. Arix leaned toward Rae. "Stay hidden. I will speak first." She stepped through the door. "Interesting suggestion," Arix said, voice cutting through the space like a polished blade. The elders stiffened. Rae remained just behind the threshold. Unseen, the oldest Varelian faced Arix, voice dripping poison. "This academy is funded by the Council. We demand she be expelled. Humans are unpredictable." Arix didn't blink. "You saw the footage." Rae showed discipline. "She harmed no one." "Apex predators wait before they strike," the elder countered. "And insecure men lash out when challenged," Arix replied. Zirak's face darkened. The elder turned away dismissively, waving her off. "We are not here to debate philosophy with a school administrator. We are here to restore order." Arix stepped in front of him. "You will not touch my student." Rae's chest tightened. My student. No one had ever claimed her like that, not as property, but as responsibility. The elder's voice dropped to a cold whisper. If the Academy refuses, we will handle it ourselves. That was Rae's breaking point. She stepped into the bay. You want to remove me? Rae asked, voice steady. Talk to me, not about me. Every head snapped toward her. Zirac's eyes widened. You should have stayed out of this. Rae walked closer. That's the difference between us. You hide behind authority. I face things. One elder stepped forward, towering over her. We do not negotiate with primitive species. Then don't negotiate, Rae replied. Just listen. She moved to face Zirac directly. You could have apologized and grown from it. He clenched his fists. You could have accepted accountability. His eyes flickered. You could have learned. Rae's voice lowered, not threatening, just firm. But you'd rather destroy someone than admit fault. Zirac lunged. Arix reached for a shock baton, but Rae raised a hand, stopping her. Rae turned her body, letting Zirac's momentum rush past. She placed her palm against his shoulder and angled her stance, redirecting him into a clean spin. He stumbled and collapsed, chest slamming against metal flooring. She didn't strike. She didn't retaliate. She simply stepped back. Zirac struggled to rise, humiliation burning his face. Rae spoke to the elders. If he wants revenge, let him have it right here. No drones, no commands, no audience. Just him and me. Silence flooded the bay. The elders looked at Zirac. He didn't move. Rae held his gaze. You don't want justice. You want to avoid responsibility. Eric stepped beside Rae. You can leave, or you can learn. The elders stared at Rae with a changed expression, not acceptance but awareness. The oldest finally spoke. Your restraint is unsettling. It's called discipline, Rae said. Humans aren't dangerous because we fight. We're dangerous because we choose when not to. The elders turned away. Come, Zirac. He stayed on the floor another heartbeat before following them onto the shuttle, defeated. The docking bay doors shut behind them. Arix let out a slow breath. You just stood down political power without lifting a hand. Rae shrugged. Humans talk too much when we fight. I use the silence instead, Arix smiled. I think the galaxy has underestimated Earth. Rae looked back through the bay windows, watching stars streak beyond the glass. No, she said. They just met a human who knows exactly when to stop.